I thank the representative of Pakistan for the statement. I now give the floor to the representative of France.
Monsieur le Président.
Mr. President, first of all, I would like to thank the Deputy Special Coordinator of the United Nations for the Middle East Peace Process, Mr. Ramiz Al-Kabarov, and also the ASG for Humanitarian Affairs, Ms. Joyce Musuma, for their briefings. I would also like to thank Ms. Inga Ashing for the briefing on the very devastating consequences of the situation in Gaza. I would like to say that it's very important for the very moving testimony of Ms. Grzewski to be heard. She is extremely courageous, and we're pleased she was here in the Council. Sir, France reiterates that it stands firmly in solidarity with the families of all hostages who must be released immediately. France denounces the barbaric cruelty of the treatment and the way they are treated by Hamas, and the ghastly stage images made by this terrorist movement. I would convey my heartfelt thoughts to the family of our compatriot Ohad Yalhoumi, assassinated in Gaza. We will continue to act unfailingly to ensure the return of all the hostages, and we will continue to rally against anti-Semitism and the barbaric acts that anti-Semitism engenders throughout the world. Sir, the humanitarian situation in Gaza is tragic. Famine is rife in the Gaza governorate, as has been confirmed by the UN on Friday last week. The use of famine as a weapon of war is likely to constitute a war crime. At the beginning of this week, harrowing images reached us of new Israeli strikes on the Khan Yunis hospital, which killed numerous civilians, including journalists. This is unacceptable. Civilians and journalists must be protected under all circumstances. France is concerned by the tragic situation for children, which is continuing to deteriorate. As we've heard from Ms. Inga Ashing's statement, Israel, in line with international law, is bound to ensure the protection of civilian populations and infrastructure, and to facilitate the delivery of humanitarian assistance. Civilians, including journalists and humanitarian workers, must not be targeted, whatever their nationality. This Council must speak with one voice on this issue. France stands ready to support all Security Council initiatives along these lines. The approval by the Israeli government of the expansion of military operations in Gaza and the occupation plan of Gaza seems as if they're forging ahead regardless. These operations will in no way ensure Israel's security. France reiterates its opposition to all forced displacement of the people in Gaza that would constitute a new grave violation of international law. Mr. President, there is an alternative that France and the other signatory states of the New York Declaration proposed: an immediate and permanent ceasefire. That is the top priority. And France is grateful for the unfailing efforts of Qatar, Egypt, and the US to achieve this. Also, the release of all hostages, mass delivery of humanitarian assistance, and a lasting political solution, including the disarmament of Hamas and the deployment of a temporary international stabilization mission. This mission's aim would be to ensure the security of Israelis and Palestinians, to enable the return of the Palestinian Authority to Gaza, and to contribute to the implementation of the two-state solution. France will work along these lines with its partners. France, furthermore, calls upon the member states of the United Nations who have not yet done so to endorse the New York Declaration. The implementation of the two-state solution is threatened more and more each day. In the West Bank, the approval of the E1 settlement project by the Israeli authorities has an assumed aim of making the implementation of a Palestinian state impossible. France reiterates its condemnation of settlements and of all the tension and violence that this caused, France will remain mobilised alongside its European partners to bring an end to this, including through new sanctions against those individuals and entities responsible for settlement activity. Mr. President, we are at a crossroads today. Our mobilisation must not flag. We need to draw on the success of the international conference that took place here in New York in July, and we need to keep going along the right tracks. The future of all inhabitants of Israel and Palestine depends on it today and tomorrow. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of France for the statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Denmark.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, allow me to thank ASG Masuya and Chief Executive Officer Ashing for their powerful briefings. Through you, I would like to extend Denmark's sincere gratitude to your teams and organizations for their life-saving work in Gaza, operating in unimaginably difficult circumstances. I also thank Deputy Special Coordinator Alak Barrow for his insightful briefing. Ms. Skrzewski, thank you for your courageous testimony. The horrors you and your loved one have suffered are simply unthinkable. I assure you, we are not, and we have not, been silent in the face of these heinous acts. Mr. President, there is no denying it. The famine that we have all